The third episode picks up 3 years after the events of episode 2. Jinya continued to wander the streets of Edo as a ronin, with a newly opened run-down soba shop grabbing his attention. The soba shop was managed by a man and his daughter Ofu, with their only customer being Jinya. Although Jinya had a rather quiet demeanor about him, the owner of the soba shop was curious about him. The man tells Jinya about a serial killer that has been committing a series of strange and violent murders around the town, and he is scared for his daughter's safety. He told Jinya that he wished the emperor would do something about it, but Jinya cautions him to be careful what he says. The man takes his advice because he didn't want to see his shop he just opened crash down. The man asks Jinya how the soba tasted, and he said it wasn't bad but a bit plain. As Jinya was paying for his food, the man asked Jinya what exactly he was doing for work, and Jinya said he was a demon-slaying ronin. While he didn't believe Jinya's profession as an actual demon hunter, he simply told him about the recent serial killings happening within Edo. He said that the person doesn't even need a sword, and the victims' bodies are found torn apart. He also said the number of missing person reports didn't add up, because the number of missing people were more than the corpses found, making many believe that a demon was involved in the murders. Jinya asked where this was happening, and he told him that the attacks happened at the Edobashi area. Just before Jinya was about to leave, Ofu tells Jinya to be careful cause the streets are dangerous at night. Later that night, Jinya went on to investigate the mysterious murders. He waited for a while but there were no sightings. Just as he was about to give up, he heard the cries of a woman. He hurried towards the cry and got to the Shanbashi bridge. Upon arriving at the scene, Jinya was met with a very grim sight. He saw many corpses, and as he goes on to investigate he realizes they were all men, and the woman was nowhere to be found. Shortly after, an invisible force struck Jinya with sudden violent precision, his eyes darting around the empty space, searching for any sign of his attacker, but there was nothing. He was able to dodge the next attack, but he still couldn't see anyone. No shadow, no sound, no movement in the air. He was attacked once again, and this time Jinya recognized it to be a demon. Jinya decided to transform into his demon self, saying it was good there were no survivors, because he wouldn't have to hide. The two clashed with brutal force, but Jinya quickly overpowered the demon, driving it to its knees. And as Jinya was about to completely exterminate the demon showed its true self. Jinya revealed his name and demanded to know the demon's name in return. The demon identified himself as Mosuke. Jinya moved to deliver the killing blow, but Mosuke surrendered, claiming he had no intention of fighting him. He explained that he had mistaken Jinya for the slasher, because people have been saying it was the work of a demon, so he traced the demonic scent and it led him to Jinya. But upon hearing Jinya call him by the killer's name, he realized he was wrong. Jinya asks him what he was doing hunting down serial killers, and he tells Jinya that they should find a better place to talk so nobody sees them. The demon takes Jinya to his home and once again revealed himself to be Mosuke, a demon living among the humans, disguised as them. He told Jinya that his power is invincibility. Jinya asked him that when he assumed he was the slasher, why did he attack him without saying a word? He said it was because of a grudge. He went on to say that the only victims the slasher kills on the spot were men, and it abducts women. Jinya asks him how he was sure of that, and he goes on to say that the slasher took his wife, and her name was Hatsu. He said she was a kind-hearted human and she was okay with their relationship even though he was a demon. But then she vanished without a trace about a month ago until 10 days later. Her body was found near the Kanda River. He revealed that his wife Hatsu was violated and murdered, an act committed he believed by the same slasher responsible for the recent killings. He went on saying, Hatsu had been kind and accepting, never once turning away from him despite his nature, and she didn't deserve such an awful death. Mosuke said he was not living among humans because he was fond of them, but he really loved his wife dearly, so he had nothing but hate towards the monster who took the life of his wife in such a sickening way. He said he wants to avenge her with his own hands. He asks Jinya to step away and allow him to do it alone, but Jinya says no because slaying demons is what he does. He then asks Jinya to team up with him so they can investigate together. He tells him they can search for the serial killer and share the information they get. But he hopes Jinya would allow him put an end to the slasher by himself. Jinya asks him if revenge is all he was after, because whether it was a demon or human, he would have to bear the burden of taking a life. And he wanted to know if Mosuke was really ready for something like that. Mosuke said he was ready, and after seeing his resolve, Jinya gave a silent nod and agreed to team up with him. So they decided to split up, hoping to cover more ground by investigating separately, each searching for leads and questioning anyone who might have seen or heard something about the demon. Despite their efforts, no one had any useful information, and the trail remained frustratingly cold. After hours of searching with no results, Jinya and Mosuke eventually rendezvoused at their agreed meeting point. Both were worn down by the day's efforts, deeply exhausted with no leads. They decide to call it a day. That night, back at Mosuke's house, the two sat together, quietly drinking as the weight of the day settled over them. Mosuke asked Jinya why he hunts demons. Jinya answered without hesitation, explaining that he did it mostly for the money. He asked Mosuke if it upsets him, but he said no. It did not bother him, because he doesn't seem like the type to kill for no good reason. Besides, he can't complain because he was enjoying the alcohol Jinya had paid for with that same money. Mosuke asked Jinya for the other reason he hunted demons, and Jinya told him to gain power. He needed to grow stronger because one day he would have to stop a certain demon. Jinya revealed that he was once a human who turned into a demon after witnessing Suzune desecrate Shirayuki's body. So slaying demons that threaten humans feels natural to him. Mosuke asks him yet he plans on letting that one live. Not being able to answer that question, he says he will decide what to do when they cross paths, but one thing was certain. No matter the outcome, he needed more power to face her. Jinya asked Mosuke what he planned to do after avenging his wife. Mosuke's answer was simple. He said nothing. He explained that he had chosen to live as a human because he hated violence. He didn't want to be hunted by humans, nor did he want to fight his own kind. All he ever wanted was a quiet, uneventful life, and he had hoped to share that life with his wife. So after his revenge was complete, he had no greater ambition. He would remain incognito, as he always has, and quietly tend to his wife's grave. By morning, Jinya was back at the soba shop. Ofu asked him if he had found the slasher, and he said he didn't remember telling them he was looking into it. She said he pretty much did, since he said slaying demons was his job, and it is fair to assume pursuing rumors like that was part of his job. He told her that the investigation hadn't been going so well. Jinya glanced around the nearly empty soba shop, then said to Ofu that a lovely waitress like her should have a line of customers out the door. Her father, overhearing the comment, chuckled and said it sounded like Jinya thought his Ofu was quite the looker. Jinya replied that he'd bet 8 out of 10 people would say the same. Clearly pleased, her father told Jinya he had excellent taste. Flustered, Ofu quickly scolded her father, but he replied, pointing out that she has never had a real relationship her whole life. She admits to it but told her father he didn't have to put Jinya on the spot. He apologizes, and she said he should not worry because she has a plan to leave the nest one day. But until then, she still wants a little more time to be just his daughter. Her father sighed and said fine, returning to what he was doing. Ofu turned to Jinya and offered a quick apology for her father's behavior, but Jinya said he didn't mind at all, and that her father is a good man. Ofu smiled softly and said her father was her pride and joy. Then, hesitating, she asked if Jinya's father hadn't been the same. Realizing she may have crossed a line, she quickly apologized for getting too personal. Jinya gently replied her, saying he has a little sister, and her name is Suzune. He said their father never treated her well. He would beat her and constantly say she didn't belong in their family. So he took Suzune and ran away from home. Although it had been a long time ago now. Ofu asked if he hated his father for it, but Jinya shook his head. He said no, he didn't hate him. In some way, he understood why his father felt that way, except things don't always turn out the way we wish. By evening, Jinya and Mosuke met again at their usual rendezvous point. Still, there was no new information, because the slasher hadn't been seen for some time, and they could not just search blindly without any leads. The trail remained cold. As they spoke, Mosuke's gaze drifted and Jinya followed his line of sight to a girl standing at the end of the bridge admiring a patch of flowers. Jinya immediately recognized the girl to be Ofu. Mosuke asked him if he knew the girl, and he said that the girl was the daughter of a soba shop he frequented. Mosuke said she should not be out alone. Jinya then excused himself and he began walking towards her. Ofu looked up as he approached, recognizing him, and with a gentle smile on her face, she remarked that the moon was beautiful tonight and asked if he was alone. Just as Jinya was about to mention he was with a friend, he glanced back only to find Mosuke was gone. From his now invisible form, Mosuke told Jinya he would be heading home, and Jinya should feel free to escort the young lady just to make sure she didn't fall victim to the serial killer. The episode ends with Jinya escorting Ofu back home under the pale moonlight. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.